Hey everyone, welcome to the Long Lost podcast known as Concrete and Coffee. Today, I'm joined by my friend Mark Scott over here at Innovative Brick, or M-Brick. Which is it?
It's both. Well, Innovative Brick is a company name. M-Brick is a product name because we have different products. So M-Brick is shorter. You know, when you set up the website, you don't want a big long name. People get tired of typing.
That's true.
There we are. All right.
And I'm at their HQ today out in Lafayette. Is that how you say it?
Lafayette, Colorado.
Lafayette, Colorado, just north of Denver. And we're talking formliners. We're talking about legacy companies with the kiddos. We're talking cars. We're talking all kinds of stuff. Yep. So guys, stay tuned and listen up.
Owning this business for as long as I have, my brother and I, it's like 7 years. I mean, doing stuff for the guys that is a little bit extra, so they'll want to hang around, come to work and stuff. Having a nice atmosphere. It's hard working out in the back there on those machines all day long.
Especially in the summer.
In the summertime, right? Because you're heating up this plastic and all day. It's very monotonous, but there are people who like that kind of work too, They don't really want to think a lot about
the 9 to 5,
right.
Clock in,
they go
clock
home,
out, not think about...
Especially here. Then they go up in the mountains and ski. They don't have to worry about it. And wouldn't it be nice to live like that? But it's, I don't know. I think it's good. So we do bougie water, if you like. Then we have, what else? Oh, we have Free Lunch Friday, which is today, by the way. You can enjoy if you stay around.
I will take you up on that. Yeah,
so
I love free lunch.
And sometimes it's a little more sophisticated. We get Indian food, but generally, it's pizza or sandwiches or something.
You want this would actually be my third or fourth lunch I've actually had here with you.
Nice.
Maybe it's because I think I only come on Fridays now that I think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. You get to go on skiing or anything like that while you're here? Well, you can ski.
In fact, our local ski resort is open the next 3 weekends still.
Still open?
Yeah. They only got one run going.
Yeah.
But still, this weekend, Saturday, we might try to get just some afternoon runs because my wife and daughter got season passes. So
nice.
We're going to do a yard sale. She's 8.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's man, I've heard from my friend Aaron that they start becoming a teenager right then. And I want to say, like 6 months ago, I started noticing that. And it's been the greatest, toughest thing ever, being a dad to a little girl. Very humbling, but also, nothing breaks a guy down easier than his little girl.
Oh, yeah. You lay down on the road for him, he'd do anything.
Yeah.
They're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're so different, Emma and Nate, their personalities and everything, She's very stubborn and strong and, strong-willed and never gives up on something, super athletic. I mean, she can, free dive to 130 feet.
Whoa.
Just because she, I think I'd like to do that. And then, 2 months later, she's in Miami competing, took second place in the international competition, actually. And so, and Nate is a bit clumsier, He does some things well, like he can rollerblade, and he's got pretty good hand-eye coordination. But it would frustrate him because we go wakeboarding and she get up the first time and it took him 2 days, to figure it out. You know what?
Yeah, I was that kid getting drugged like underneath the water all the time. So I'm the worst in the water.
Yeah.
My wife is a fish. My daughter's a fish.
Yeah.
But
you sink.
Truly. And then not only that, like all my family water skied when we were kids and stuff because we got lakes everywhere. And my whole family was trying to teach me water ski, and they're getting like big jumbo kid skis on me, wakeboards, whatever. And it was just one of those things like, let go of the rope. They're screaming off the boat. And you just see my face under the water.
We did that with, there's a little reservoir up at Boulder that's 3 miles wide. You go around the circle, and there's 100,000 boats on it. It's ridiculous, but it's water.
Yeah.
And it's a good time with the kids to bring their friends on. You get to know them pretty well if you go out for a day, right? So we get these skis. We never, never been out there before with any kind of ski equipment. So pair of skis, and it's a rope goes from the skis to the boat, and then from the front of the skis to the skier. The young
Yeah.
Emma was on the thing, right? She's all excited about getting up first time, So we hit the throttle, start pulling her, and immediately, she flops forward, but she's holding on to the rope still. I'm going, let go of the rope. And then I realized she's strapped into the skis and, she can't let go of the rope. So
yeah.
who must have dragged her? I go, I'm just going to keep going because maybe she can
And that's where she learned to hold her breath.
That's probably.
That's where she learned to hold her breath.
She learned to punch me.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We'd have some good times out there. But
So Emma and Nate, they've both been here for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that qualifies this as like I guess if they took it over when you decided to call it done and just go enjoy some downtime, that would make this a legacy company. Actually, let me rewind. You and your brother started this in 97.
Mm-hmm.
Why formliners?
Well, let me back up. So when we were in high school back in the late 70s, my grandfather had a business that did rubber formliners and insulation, some other things. But we worked in that part of his business for quite a while. Then he passed it on to my father, who we worked for almost 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school in Florida to be a marine biologist, and you can't make you make like $3 an hour doing that. So I got out of that, came back, worked for my dad, and then it was just a falling out. We kind of split ways. We had some ideas and things we wanted to pursue that he wasn't keen on. Just different points in your life, maybe. So we that was in 97. Started this, but Bill and I have been doing this since the late 70s, really. Every summer, and then mid 80s, pretty much full time. So
it came from kind of your dad already kicking it off.
Exactly. My grandfather kicking it off.
Yeah.
So there's there's fourth generation sitting there, right?
Yeah.
And through osmosis, I hate that word, but they picked up a lot of stuff they didn't realize. They're a lot smarter than I realized. I mean, first of all, Nate never tried in school. I don't think he ever cracked a book in high school. Managed to get by, get into college, get a degree. But I swear, the kid is he must be so smart because he never saw him study once. I'm a little different. She studied quite a bit, I think. But when they came in here, I realized they knew more just from me talking about it all the time, I suppose. Or we come in on weekends and work on the mini bikes and stuff. And just to hang out. So they could operate the machines and pretty much load a truck with a forklift to do a lot of.
They've done a lot
stuff.
of the tasks.
Yeah. When Nate got out of college at CU, he got a degree in art, and he wanted to be an animator. So
Mm-hmm.
he learned SketchUp, and he learned Maya, which is a digital filmmaking, whatever you call it, type of program, right? But we realized that you go to California, you sit in a dark room, and you do one little bit of a video game or something, and you make no money at all, until you been in the industry a long time. So rather than that, a friend of mine got him a job at Kirkstra Precast in Michigan.
Okay, yeah, that's
so
a big outfit.
It was like boot camp. He was like, "What? I'm going to where?" And yeah, it'll be great, Nate. You'll love it up there. So he actually did love it. Went to Grand Rapids, worked for some great people, learned a lot about the industry, the precast industry.
Mm-hmm.
They actually made him work in the plant for a couple of months, I think, and then he became their marketing guy. It was funny because his level of technology, I suppose, and understanding of different programs was so much further along than anybody in that company, our company, ever has been. Just because precast isn't real and tilt up, they're just not right on the cutting edge of technology a lot of times.
Yeah, not on the computerization of stuff.
No. So, he could put together an animation of a product being made, or drawing and rotate it in space and actually build a building with these components. And everybody's going, what? You can do this. So they in like a year, they made him the director of marketing for this pretty big company,
Yeah.
tens of millions of dollars in sales. And he called me, I don't know what I'm doing. What they told me that, I was a director of marketing. Yeah, just read a book. You'll be fine. Just
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing. They'll figure it out. But so with that knowledge, he worked there a couple of years and he came back here to us, and then he's been doing that with us, which has really helped our business because it's so visual, everything we do, right? Some guy calls in and goes, well, I'd like to have a brick. What do you think it'll look like on my building? He can actually render the building, uh, take a photo of a brick, and then apply it to the rendering. It's pretty much photorealistic. It's as if the building existed, right? Plus, you can walk around it. You can rotate the thing. You can animate different things. So
Yeah.
it's been very helpful for us.
And I don't think a lot of outfits offer services like
No,
that. I really don't.
I don't know if anybody in our business does. And I think all the formliner stuff. He can apply that to different buildings, and then actually drag the sun across the face of it, so you see
What shadow it's
yeah.
casting.
And architects
on
can
those
make
joints.
decisions going, I think I'm going to run that at 45, or I need those fluids deeper. There's just so many little details and decisions you can make without doing mock-ups. These are visual mock-up pieces for, architects and precasters.
Yeah, it can get you 75% of the way there.
Yeah.
And then
And that's how, we're not a big company. There's 13 people and, at any one time here.
yeah,
But,
you're a skosh bigger than us.
we just rely on relationships, right? I mean, that's so important in this business, I think. People don't leave it often, and if you don't do what you say you're going to do and do it a little bit better than you said you were going to do it, you just won't survive.
Yeah, because you get that reputation, and I think
Yeah.
most precast and tilt-up industry, you say concrete in general is not super tight-knit, but the precast guys all know the precast guys, and the tilt-up guys, I want to say definitely all know the tilt-up guys.
Yeah.
And a discussion that you might have had with somebody and you didn't do your part, or just something that went south, which happens, but if you didn't show up to play ball with everyone else to get it resolved.
Man, sometimes you got to take responsibility for issues that aren't yours.
Oh, extreme ownership. Huge fan.
We sell brick, right? We don't make brick. We sell brick from big brick companies, and they're very staunch. They kick it out and they go, that's what we made. You're going to have to use it. That's just brick, and we're selling it to somebody who's very finicky, who expects a perfect finish all the time. And marrying the two up has been difficult. So my nephew, Dean, who, I think will be the general manager of this place at one point, put it pretty well. He said, we're just a kind of an insurance company. People can buy brick directly from the brick companies, but they buy it through us. When there's a complaint, they complain to us, and we'll fix it where the brick company would not fix it.
Yeah.
So,
Dean's the tall gentleman, right?
Yeah.
I remember meeting him last time.
He's
He was
just
cool.
over 6'8", so just tall enough where he has to duck through the doorways. He was in the Navy too. Can you imagine being on a ship?
Oh my, yeah, I remember him talking about that, and that was like, someone brought that up from Wells when they were here, and I was just like, what? Like, I can't imagine his sleeping quarters or every doorway and the scoliosis that would have to follow for him being on the ship.
He doesn't hunch. He stands so straight.
Yeah.
Marine Corps taught him that. He was a captain. He was in charge of a bunch of guys. Most of the time, everybody on the same page. I think it was mortars or something. He had a crew of them. So he did that for a while. So getting him back here, it's been really nice because he'll see something going on and go, we need to make that more efficient and write a SOP. And I go, what's an SOP? I don't know.
Standard operating procedure.
Yeah, so he's got that for almost everything, like, how to turn the machine on, how to run it, all the safety stuff. It's been really good for the back end,
Yeah.
I gotta get him more on the front end.
I think people get like a militaristic, that's a huge fan of military stuff here, by the way. But yeah, be able to see the big picture, like observe or detach, observe, and then making these decisions or systematic processes.
Yeah.
Because, we are in construction, well, depending at what levels, there's certain things like, and we just put it together, we make it work. However, those who have a regimented system or see the details in these to make them more efficient,
Yeah.
usually are the ones that surpass. Otherwise, if you're not one of those individuals or companies, I feel that those are the ones they remain around. However, they are the ones that are always just we just gotta be the cheapest.
They follow their commodity.
And yeah, and it's usually they get repeat business with only the cheapest of the builders and the cheapest developers, and it's just at the bottom end.
Yeah.
You know, when you could same crew guys making a bit more money because they have that procedure in place.
Yeah.
Job takes longer, but the building owners and stuff are like, well, we know what we want. We want this certain level of perfection done.
Yeah. It's amazing that you guys have taken this product as far as you have. I'm
glue.
Seriously.
That's
all the companies that I know, you've managed to be successful at something that I never thought anybody could, You can't just make a company on glue, can you? And evidently you can.
So that's funny because that's how it was with Chad. For those of you who don't know who Chad is, he is the president and owner of Glue Down. When I met him, he was a salesperson covering the Western U.S.
Yeah.
That was his sales territory. And when he first came to the place I was working at the time, the supply house known as Peak Fasteners, he came in there and I'm like, yeah, come on in. We'll have a sit down. We'll hear you out first, and then we'll decide. And I remember after he left, I'm talking to my coworker Aisha, and I'm like, this guy's he's making a company that's just on glue and reveal. And we're both like...
It seems like some kind of project you get...
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? He's confident in enough, whatever. He said if I get him on jobs, he's going to show me. And so I think we followed up, and like shortly after too, I want to say it was within a month, I was like, yeah, you know what? Next time you come out, I'm going to line up visits.
Yeah.
And he did, and sure enough, like the contractors ate it up. They were like, hey, this is doable. And I'm watching and I'm like, yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, this could be something I could be excited about.
Yeah. It's fun. Find a niche, and exploit it and solve problems. That's what you got. You got to make the contractor's life as easy as possible. We work with this company, Tyndall Concrete, like you mentioned. They're in Moss Point, and they had a project and with a plastic liner and required. They don't do a lot of that. They're big structural producers, so they don't want to put a lot of fancy stuff in the face of their panels. But we talked to them about prefabricating everything. We said, well, what if we made all the liners and basically labeled them per panel, and this was like a random board pattern, so the plastic had to be supported. So we used your glue to glue two pieces of plastic together. The support piece underneath is glued to the finished part on top, and then they all kind of slide and connect each other. And again, those connections can all be glued. So I'll show you the parts.
So yeah, this is your new product that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's very interesting, I think, but it couldn't be done without attaching those two liners together. And their big frustration, all these guys, is how do we put this stuff in the bed so it doesn't move around and we can still, clean it up later when we don't have any kind of finish, right?
Yeah.
So really, your product, as I understand it, is key to doing that kind of stuff. And then, you come up with the tape, which is cool. There's applications for that. And then thicker glues, almost like hot melts, right?
Yeah, those are all in a canister. They're all mainly propellants. And then we have one that's like a lot of guys just call it the caulk glue. Yeah, sausage, which, gluing's tough. It's not, everyone's like, there's so many people that don't reach out when they're bidding a project. Let's say that contractor, they're from the glory days of just nailing everything. Yeah. And then they got this project that it said minimum holes or no holes. And then they call us up. We get a call from either their supplier or them, like maybe a week before they start, if they haven't already started.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, can you just come out? And I'm like, well, what materials do you have? And none of the materials are glue compatible. They're like, it's just glue. You just stick it down. I'm like, man, I hate to be the bearer on this. Like, because you seem like cool guys. And I wish we got to work together going up to this so I could consult with you and support you leading up to it. But I'd almost rather just not use our particular product on this because, guys, unless you want to swap out everything, you're not going to be able to have success with that.
Yeah.
And there's been a few times, there's been twice for me specifically where guys were just like, all right, then we're just not going to use your glue. I'm like, hey, I get that, man.
Yeah.
You know, here's another brand, you know, you've heard of them. And it's, you know, when challenges come up, like,
They'll sell you anything.
yeah,
you want
I'll give you the best 2 cents I can on how to make theirs work for you on this one. But I'm like, you're going to think it's my glue, and I'd rather it not stick with their glue. Or you want to pump the brakes, we can redo some of this now.
Yeah.
Take an additional 3 days, swap out some materials.
Yeah.
And that I should just have something like that up in the Spokane area.
Yeah. So your business, you know, word of mouth, and then you know the TCA event, and you're getting into PCI, right? A little bit.
With your guys' support and love, yes.
Of course.
Because you guys are, everyone knows you guys pretty well. Because you guys are all so very social.
Yeah.
And at like those events, like this is where I gotta like tip my hat off to Sherry and stuff. Because like if there's like a fun part of that event, you guys are all about being like, hey, can we spearhead that? And yeah, we'll run that part of the booth and stuff, like the masquerade mask making and stuff for it. And
yeah, the pickleball tournament for the Georgia Carolinas. You know, I mean that's what makes it fun, is being able to do special stuff. That's why we need to do this little tractor thing. I'm telling you. People love that kind of stuff. You know, we took the golf simulator to the show one time, and it totally broke all the rules. You're not supposed to be taller than 8 feet. We're like 12.
Yeah.
You know, and we're masking everybody on the other side of the aisle. You know, the booth was so big, but nobody cared at that point because it was fun. You know, we didn't have our name plastered all over it. I mean, people knew it was our booth, but just to have cool stuff like that. Or one year we did a racing simulator, which is,
I remember that. Yeah, is that still upstairs?
Yeah, sitting up there. Got to get that back up and running. We kind of wore it out, but
Greg work didn't get done for a month because we had it.
Yeah, I know. We're just sitting around. I don't know. We've done some things with some customers. We went to Moab with some guys from Wells Concrete and a couple other outfits. Tyndall. I think there were 13 people. Naka went. You know.
Oh
Dave Ellis,
yeah.
Who's best guy? You know, he. I love that guy. He's got as much energy as you do, I think, and
he's got 5 times the energy. That
he's
guy.
never met a stranger, you know, and people just love him. But 2 days in Moab was a great time.
I bet.
We rented those side by sides, you know.
Yeah.
And I've never seen scenery like that before. It's like another planet.
It is, and
you know, all of those arches, and you know.
And you guys did it in what month was that?
It's like right before May, early May, or maybe late April.
Last year?
No, 2 years.
2 years,
maybe 3 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
COVID was just letting up a little bit, but you got to do it before kids get out of school.
Yeah.
Right. And the weather's nice enough then you didn't have to bundle up.
Yeah.
But
and all the greenery starts popping.
I'm
out
sure
there.
you've been there.
Oh,
numerous times.
Yeah, handfuls. I had this little Ford Ranger that had been modified, and everyone was like, oh, "You should take that to Moab. You should take that to Moab."
Yeah.
And I don't know, 17, maybe 18, and sure enough, like within like the first day, flopped it on its side.
No.
And I didn't have anything like any protection. It was just a
Right.
standard Ford Ranger. No big deal. Some guys that were on the trail pushed me back over, and I was out there by myself like a dingus. And yeah, it actually sparked my love though for getting out there and wheeling more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, side by sides irritate the heck out of me. There's gonna be a lot of our listeners, all 6 of you, that Cliff side by sides are the best, but I hate them.
You do? Why? What do you?
I love driving them.
Yeah,
but I don't like them on
they're
the trail.
annoying people in them.
Everyone's got to have the stereo blasting.
Yeah, they're loud.
I like music.
Yeah,
but I got music everywhere else. I just want to kind of enjoy being out there while I'm wheeling, and then I don't mind hearing the motors. That's just part of the vehicle. But because they're so lightweight and so capable, guys, unless they absolutely need that 4-wheel drive, they will keep it in 2-wheel drive. and all the roads they spin like that, and it just washboards every road. And because they're so capable, they will take sections that they're not supposed to and rut out the trails, and it's made it so we lost in Moab specifically. A lot of trails are now closed to all off-road vehicles, and
Really?
I feel, and I think a lot of the community feels that a lot of that is due to the side-by-side
Oh yeah.
culture.
You could, the when you get to the soft stuff, and it starts winding around, they build these chute banks are built up,
Yeah,
and that's these guys sliding around those turns, just digging it out deeper and deeper, right?
yeah, it's that, and then that's just a natural course of it too. From like, so when it does rain, that's the path the water's going to travel anyway. So it's going to follow your tracks and build up on a turn anyways, and push sediment that way.
Yeah.
But and it's hard not to want to go fast. It's
Yeah.
hard not.
What
to
do you
wanna.
ride out there then? What do you drive?
I have a heavily modified Tacoma, so
Nice.
it's my baby.
Yeah.
It's only been flopped over once, and my wife and I are just waiting for the day that we completely roll it over.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's our baby. It's not about miles per gallon; it's about smiles per gallon.
Yeah.
In that thing, and it's always on jack stands getting repaired.
Really?
Yeah, but it's not a daily driver, and it's it's what we like to call a shit box, and
Yeah.
it's got all the pinstripes and beer stickers on it, and
Sweet, sweet.
yeah. But you guys got those. You guys are restoring your Hondas. Now tell me about, is it one or two out there? You got your Honda
Oh.
bike out there.
There's 10, I think, out there.
I only saw the blue one.
No, there's a bunch of them out there. They're all kind of tucked away under there. We'll go look at them later. But
Yeah.
yeah, I had one when I was a kid, right? A 1969 50cc Honda Mini Trail was what it called, right? It was the first bike, mini bike that looked like a motorcycle. All the other ones were those Briggs and Stratton.
Mm-hmm.
Buy it down at Sears for $190, right? And these things
Where
came
the
out.
clutches went out all the time.
Yeah, and they're just centrifugal clutches. So these came out with the 3-speed transmission. You actually shifted gears on them, right? A little 50cc motor, and just a piece of art. You can hang it on the wall, I think. It's iconic, that shape of it. And then a year later, or maybe the same year, they came up with a bigger machine for the adults, the Honda 70.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a stamped metal body on it. It's a little, it's still cool, but it's not as cool as the old 50s were, So, you get to a certain point in your life, you go, I kind of want to re-experience that. So I saw one on eBay, and I bought it, and I got it, and the kids loved it, and I tell you, I'm not very technically, I'm challenged that way, right? So evidently I have 2 eBay accounts, So, I'm at home. This guy in Utah is selling a whole collection. He's selling like 3 bikes that are been painted but aren't put together, then 2 others that need to be torn down, So there's like 5 frames, 4 motors, all this whole collection of things. I'm like, oh, it's just going crazy. These are really cool. Some of them 4-speed, with the clutch, which is a different model, which is a little more unique. These are all 1970, 71 versions. I wouldn't want anything newer, And so I put in a bid. It was a couple $1,000, and I go, man, I think I'm going to get this. And then I come to work and I go, some son of a gun, I was bid $2,300 or $2,000. So I bid from work, on my computer at work.
I see where this is going.
Yeah, and they give you some goofy name, I wasn't smart enough when I signed up to, recognize my login name. So I'm going back and forth for like 3 days. Drove the price up to like $5,000 or something. It might have kept other people out of the game, So I'm hoping that's what happened. I did just like an idiot bid myself up to some price, but
they just saw Scott A and Scott B in a bidding war.
yeah. Well, it's not even Scott, right? It's MSBOCOK. Some random login name, right? So that was funny. It was embarrassing. I did tell the guy, and he laughed, but
Now you told
whatever.
12 more people.
I did, probably. I don't care. But yeah, those things are fun. They're cheaper. I'd like to collect cars or something, because I do like motors,
Yeah.
So if I could collect a vehicle, I've been keeping my eye on these E46s. It's a BMW.
Okay.
It's a
You're going to lose me because it's German.
M3. BMW from 2002 to 2006.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I think, the coolest looking.
I would,
Little
and this is where you'll get a
3
tidbit
Series.
on German vehicles for me. I would agree because I knew some people that had those, and I was like, man, that is a sharp
It's
looking
a sweet
car.
looking car still.
Well, didn't what's that movie where Charlie Sheen is like an outlaw running away from the cops with some
Oh,
he carjacks that girl driving her car, and she has to ride along with them while they're outrunning the cops.
oh, I don't remember.
He drives
Is that what it was?
one of the early models it's like 96 or something like that.
Yeah. They're quick. They're light. You know, they have a 6-cylinder inline engine that's just amazing, runs forever. But and they're beautiful cars, and you know, you could buy one back in 2002 for probably 45 grand, and you know, the price of them are now for a good one under 100,000 miles. You know, you're going to pay $40,000 to $50,000.
Yeah, because there were a lot of people's dailies.
Yeah, and some people paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for them if they're in really good shape. You know, 10,000 miles kind of thing, and unmodified. You know, somebody lowers them and puts stupid wheels on them and does all that.
Yeah.
Stuff. You know, kind of ruins the whole aesthetic package. But so those would be fun to collect, I think, or get at least one of them. But
Last year I was shopping me up. I want to get like a 60 or 70 series Land Cruiser.
oh,
I'm a
that'd be
big
fun.
Toyota guy,
Yeah,
and my buddy's got like an 88, and then I was like, oh, that's huge. But then after he did all of his work to it, he got 2 of them now. Man, it kind of turned me on to those things, and I'm just like,
yeah.
ooh, now I want one of those.
So those are the 4-door big ones, right?
Yeah, big wagon.
Right.
Yep.
Just run forever.
Yeah.
How about one of those Hilux?
I wish they'd allow you to bring them here.
They don't, huh?
Yeah, they don't. Supposedly, there's like a new version that they're gonna allow here.
Yeah.
But I think it's been pushed off time and time again. But yeah, it's like, I mean, every time there's a revolution going on in like Africa or the Middle East, you
Right.
know they're good vehicles because they got some like 50 caliber mounted in the
The
back. of them.
Taliban are driving around in Toyotas.
And so you know that's a quality vehicle right there.
Exactly. They don't want them breaking down out there.
That's right. It's gonna take all the rounds and keep driving.
That's funny. Yeah, Emma bought a Toyota Tacoma,
Mhm.
that tan one out there, and we got it with the manual transmission. You know, it's better. I think, you know, can't be texting and doing all that stuff if you got to pay attention to what you're doing when you're
It's
driving.
easy to
manual.
drive.
It's she's still driving it. She's not too tired of shifting gears all the time, but it has cruise control too. How can you have cruise control on a manual transmission
You want?
or the automated cruise control that, you know?
Oh, it has that.
Yeah.
I would have no idea because I just barely learned about that. What that technology, what they do to make that technology possible.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you would do it in a stick, man. I had a remote start that Ford Ranger, and
It was a remote start.
well, I got it done
modify
afterwards because my stepbrother at the time was telling me, yeah, you can get a remote start even if it's a stick. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you just gotta leave it in neutral,
What
you
the-
know, and make sure you have like a park brake. And I'm like, so my cinder block behind the wheel. So in the winter, I do the remote start
Yeah.
or
Hope it
whatever.
doesn't drive away.
Yeah, luckily it was just like I'd park like right up to this tree because there was once when I did do it and like as it was trying to crank over, it never even started, just, and then just ran itself right into the tree.
Yeah.
But those different
scary.
technologies, you know, who's really into that stuff? Well, a couple guys in our industry. Chad has his collection, which is pretty cool.
Of cars? Sports cars?
I'm not going to go into what he's got, but yeah, they're fast ones.
Porsches?
They're fast cars.
Nice.
And they're cool.
Yeah.
And he's very kind about letting people see them
Nice.
and enjoy them.
Yeah.
And then I've never got to see Barclays.
Oh, I see Barclays all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I you know, on the internet.
Yeah, we're all friends on like
He's a big
Facebook and
musclehead.
stuff. Yeah.
You know, he's got those SS Camaros that are just amazing. Tell you a story. I wanted to buy a Tesla a couple of years ago, and it was middle of December, I think, or no, I put the order in November, and it was like getting later and later, and I wanted it by the end of the year because, you know, just of the tax consequences.
Mhm.
You know, as long as it's used for business, you can deduct, you know, the whole thing, I think, the majority of it. So it made sense to do that. So one came up, you know, they said, your car's not here, but there's one in St. Louis. I says, St. Louis? He goes, yeah. Well, if you want that one, you can buy it. You have to go get it, though. We're not going to bring it in for you or anything like that. So I'm thinking, okay, who do I know in St. Louis? And I call Barkley up. I didn't know him that well at that point, but he's the greatest guy. I go, hey, I got a big favor. Could you go down to the dealership in St. Louis and pick this car up and then use it, do whatever you want, drive around, have fun with it. And he goes, sure, and he goes down there and, he's not an electric car guy, for sure. But I think he got a kick out of driving it because,
it is fast.
0 to 60. It's just so sudden. But he parked it in his driveway, he didn't drive it.
I wonder what his neighbors all thought when they saw that in his driveway.
Well, his garage was full of stuff, so he couldn't hide it. But it was so kind of him. I flew in and met up, went to his house, met his family. It was fun. Beautiful house. He was putting in a pool, just amazing place. Amazing guy.
Well,
always so positive.
That's one of those things, we're part of these associations like the PCI, which I still have a lot of growth in networking to do there to be embedded in that community. Yeah. But like at the TCA and stuff, man, there's so many people that I've gotten to meet, and I came into it with my initial thought when coming into an association like that, and then the networking, like, I don't know why I had like this business mentality, and I squished it so fast. In 2018 was my first TCA event.
2018, okay.
And I went there. It was in Dallas. I think it was the one I went to. I think that was 2018. I went to Dallas, and it was when I was working for that supply house. And the only person I knew was Chad and Madeline. And I knew like 2 or 3 of my local contractors that were also going to that event. And I went in there with like this mindset that I'm like, oh, I'm going to get these contacts. I'm going to do all this. And I just only wanted to like, go into it with a sales mindset. And I hated that. After day 2, I was there, and I wanted to say it was like right after the gala. Yeah, because the first night was the reception and stuff, and then the second night was the gala. And after seeing the awards go on and kind of hearing the stories about how either that person helped the industry or supported it, or that person describing all the support and help and friendships that they've gotten, it changed my mindset going into a lot of these associations, because there's so many people that, because from a manufacturer standpoint, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna know so and so, but not enough people go into like, if something comes of this, great. We spend money to go there, and we do want to grow business, but really, it's, especially in our tight knit industries, it's growing relationships. And the money comes afterwards.
Yeah,
but
you don't sell anything at trade shows. I mean, people know you're there, you're supporting it, but those relationships are what are important, right? They know you and trust you, and you do what you say you're going to do. You don't always have to be the low bidder kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you're giving them some other advantage, right? Making it more efficient for them, teaching them another way to do things, becoming an expert at what you do.
Yeah.
Because they're not. They can't spend the time, and you are, and you become very valuable to the industry, I think, when you get to that point. We need more people like that. Not just salespeople, right? But people that are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like anything else, and it's not just being good at sales or just be good at pouring concrete.
Yeah.
Right? Or setting forms. It's being good to ask for help. Being good to recognize other people's good work, and to communicate and step outside of your comfort zone, which is something a lot of people don't do.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy that a lot of people. Well, let me ask you this real fast. From a sales standpoint, do you guys have outside sales people, and what does that look like?
We do now.
Innovative.
We have one, Sherry.
Yeah.
Right. She moved to North Carolina and is in Greensboro, and we're beginning to manufacture some of the liner out there.
Oh, really?
We build the tools, and they subcontract the manufacturing.
Okay.
And there's, they'll warehouse it, and Sherry can manage a lot of that. But We haven't in the past, because it's such a niche product. It's not like it could support salespeople all over the country.
I get that. It's architecturally driven. Well, let me ask you this. There are, let's take tilt up specifically, because I think precasters can be more particular, which I love. I'm starting to learn to love that even more so. If let's say it's just thin brick on a tilt up job. I have been on some where it was running brick pattern and it wasn't your guys' product. And the brick, I don't know where they got the brick. I don't know what brand it was or anything like that. I didn't see that packaging. Mm-hmm. But I know it wasn't your guys' form liner. And the brick was just kind of floating around everywhere in there. Mm-hmm. And I asked the contractor, I said, hey, is this part of a system, or where did you get this all from? Because like what we were talking about earlier, when you get it from a single source.
Yeah.
And their supply house said, yeah, we rounded you up form liner. And then, oh, yeah, we also rounded you up brick. Mm. And they had a bunch just float everywhere. And it came out, I feel bad for the contractor.
Yeah, a lot of repair stuff.
And when I was out there, I remember expressing to him, hey, they have another brand of form liner. I'm like, nothing against this company, but it's designed to work well with this brand of brick.
Right.
And I had given them your guys' number, and I don't think they ever followed through with it. This was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I hope that's patented, but you guys have that
compression joint.
Yeah. What's called, is that the Versaliner?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Because it's a little detail like that guys in the field, I don't think, realize getting the right brick with the right liner.
Yeah. It's like buying a pair of shoes. We get the brick before it ships. We get samplings from the brick. And we take them out here on this table, and we stick them in different liners. I mean, it's all running bond modular pattern, say. But some of the pockets are short by 40 thousandths of an inch, right? We have 8 different size pockets.
Yeah.
There's some same module, 8 inches, but the joints are vary. So you put the brick in this one, shakes around too much. This one, too tight, things will stretch out. And you find exactly the right liner, and then that's the one we make, because we can produce, 4,000 square feet of liner a day. So if, the brick comes out of the oven, we get samples immediately. We can certainly meet the delivery date, by the time they process the brick, because they have to wax it.
Yeah.
And ship it to the customer. Now we have that information, put the mold on, make the parts, and everybody's happy. But why wouldn't you fit the liner to the brick? We've been doing this, and bricks vary. That's the nature of brick, right?
Yeah.
A lot. There's quite a variation. So as long as all the variation is within a certain range, you can't accommodate brick in an 8-inch pocket that's over 8 inches, of course, but most of the time they're pretty close, Just that little extra step, I think, ensures that it's all going to work, And if it's all through one source, there's just one throat to choke at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. I was taking a tour with one of the local plants.
Brick prints?
No, sorry, one of the precasters. And he was showing me some of their panels that they had just out in the yard for showing architects and stuff. And he was showing me one they did like 3 years ago or last year. That's out of school. And he's like, we actually had to use existing brick and then had them cut it. And he was telling me how difficult it was. He's like, it's not brick that's meant to go in this liner.
Right.
And you don't, he was just saying how hard it was to take their existing brick. This was local, yeah. This was Joe.
Sure.
Over there at Wells there.
Great guys.
And it was, man, I was thinking about it and I'm like, man, that must be so hard. And I don't know, because the form liner realm, I know you guys well, and then I have another individual that left another company and she went to, this is Rhonda, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
And that's my go-to form liner question people.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that there's many companies out there that try to match A and B together as a package well, unless I'm wrong. We don't have to say names, but
no, I don't think so. I think it needs to be done, and we see value in it because there's fewer complaints, of course. The brick companies love it because they're not getting stuff returned and people complaining because it's so much easier for us to adjust, you know, 10,000 square feet of form liner versus remake 10,000 square feet of brick.
Mm-hmm.
The time, is days for us. It's months perhaps for them.
Yeah.
So, as long as, our vendors, all the brick companies, you have to treat them right. You got to be fair with them and help them out if they need help, right? And in this industry, people are so particular again about the size of the brick and the shading. We we're kind of that buffer between them and the end user, and teaching them how to do it right. It's been a good experience, but it brings us more business too because if brick company A has a customer that calls and he goes, "Hey, what liner should we use?" You know, they tend to want to use the ones that they're not going to get the brick returned.
Mm-hmm.
If things don't work and the liner company goes, "It's not our fault. We made our product right." Because we could just ship it out there and it would be all right. The brick is wrong, but nothing happens, right? You don't get a building built. It just doesn't move forward. So it makes sense, and those relationships are just as important as the customers.
Well, it's interesting what you say, like, because this kind of falls in line, making sure like it's a system, which we talked about earlier, and making sure parts A and B work well,
Yeah.
and then to plug and glue down a little bit, part C.
Yeah.
Because remember, I reached out to you, I think it was a little over a year ago, and we won't say companies or projects or anything like that, but remember, there was a project where they were calling out saying the glue had warped the form liner. And that was, do you remember that discussion?
Yeah.
And chemically, I'm like, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, hey man, it just, no one, if company A had reached out to us in advance, either the manufacturer or the contractor had reached out in advance, all the training that goes with things.
Yeah.
And, with Formliner, I think that's like one of those things that a lot of contractors haven't taken into account yet. It's, yeah, you've installed Formliner 100 times before, and you've probably installed it with nails or with glue, you know what I mean? But some patterns are very difficult to place.
Yeah. Well, we have limitations making form liner, right? You can make a part probably 4x10 is a typical size.
Mm-hmm.
Well, precast and tilt-up panels are 30 feet tall. So when you're trying to match ends, it's usually where the problem occurs because the fluting, doesn't join properly. But this new little splice part is kind of cool because it helps align those flutes vertically, so you don't have a big ugly seam.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to have a seam, sometimes I think it's better just to accentuate it with the reveal than try to hide it because it just looks like a mistake.
Yeah, you might as well put you might as well just put a broad termination point and accent
and make it look part of the pattern. It doesn't. I don't think it distracts from it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, but so we see a lot of that. That's a big complaint with plastic form liner. They can't secure it down properly.
Mm-hmm.
It gets hot, it moves around because the sun comes out, and it's has that reaction. But getting all those parts stuck down, and with the brick, forever we've had a problem when they come to a return.
Mm-hmm.
When they want to go around the corner.
Yeah.
Into a door, into a window. Getting the brick to stay in the liner. All kinds of contraptions have been made where they nail a strip across the back and they see all this work. And one day we were in here and we go, maybe we could just spray this glue down on the face of the brick and a little bit in the liner and stuck it on the wall. We had a piece of liner. It's still stuck in the liner. It hasn't fallen out yet. Everything, you can't glue the wax. And I go, evidently you can glue the wax.
Yeah, glue will stick to everything it's touching.
And it doesn't, it's neat because it doesn't stain it. You put silicone in there and it burns the wax off, and then you get a oily stain. You can't do that because the brick's absorptive, especially the lighter colors. You got to be really careful because they'll stain so easy. But it's going to be fun. I think we can advance this whole industry if we do more collaboration and figure that stuff out.
Collaboration's right, and I think that's like one of those things too. Like from the early time of me attending the TCA was getting to collaborate is so nice because glue down collaborates with a handful of outfits and stuff, and I'm surprised more don't on the formliner or other architectural products.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'll just say Reveal, for example.
Yeah.
There was like mild collaboration, but it was never like, hey, no, let's just charge this together under a unified system and unified training. And I don't think enough people get training.
Yeah.
When you guys, is there, and I don't know of any. So if you guys don't have it, I get it. Is there a training program for formliners of some sort?
No, I wouldn't say training. Presentations we've done,
Mm-hmm.
but um, yeah, that would be interesting. Um, we just let people figure it out for themselves, right? They just send this product out there and
I think it'd be
they
interesting
struggle.
as part of, so you know at the PCI how like the precast plants and stuff, they have certain levels and certifications.
Hmm.
I feel that that should be one of those levels of certifications that people get through the TCA.
Yeah.
Is like, oh, I'm formliner certified, and that could be nailing, that could be gluing. It's a variety, and then it's I'm thin brick certified on that, and there's like channels and categories in it
That
because
would
we
be really
have
cool.
there are other certifications, and it's all typically based around a typical forming scenario and pick points and lifting. But then on the architectural projects, or let's say just some that have big return walls on them and stuff, there's nothing that really kind of like certifies a certain level of qualification.
So who are you certifying? Individuals or companies? Because their crews change, right?
Yeah, the crews change. If it were me, I think,
Supervisors?
yeah, I would probably have it under the supervisor end. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because
Well, we could propose that to Mitch. Have some kind of a seminar.
Mitch, when you watch this,
Was Mitch watch this, you think?
I don't know. We should talk some trash and find out if it comes back in a couple weeks or months.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, he doesn't have glasses anymore.
No, you get operation.
He's looking 10 years younger without glasses, and he's living it up now, looking studly
Interesting.
without glasses.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Yeah, it took me a second to recognize him one time. I was like, something's different about you, and he's like waiting for the answer. He's just like, come on, Cliff, you're faster than this. And I'm like, you don't have your glasses on.
Oh my gosh. We did that job in Tampa. Do you remember that sample wall we did in Tampa with the big
Oh
hexagonal
yeah,
pieces?
yeah.
We got some samples in the back, but Mitch calls me up, and he goes, "You think you could make a form liner out of plastic that had like a 6-inch relief?" And of course, when I talk to Mitch, I just say yes. I say, "Of course we could, Mitch." He goes, "Well, everybody tells me they can't." I go, "Well, that's not true, Mitch, because I just told you we could." And he goes, so he goes, "Well, how about you get us some of those in like 4 weeks down in Tampa?" And I go, "What?" It was a bit of a short notice, but we had everybody around here scrambling around, but it was good for us to stretch ourselves. We ended up
Those are big, impressive pieces.
do the plastic, and then we filled them with the urethane foam to support the thing. And I was terrified the whole time, thinking this is not going to work, and now we're going to have some panel that looks like crap. But it turned out really nice.
It was
At the end of
impressive.
the day,
Well, not only that what you guys had to come up with mold wise for that, but I'm genuinely impressed too, and this comes down to collaboration
yeah,
with what you guys in KB were able to do at the Denver one.
yeah. All right, right,
That was such a beautiful panel.
yeah,
And normally I'm not the guy that's like, yeah, let's spend all the time on the architectural one. But I gotta say that, the last handful of shows have been great, and all the contractors have helped us. Thank you all, by the way. There's not one that did better than the other. There are some little facets in local areas that stood out, and
yeah,
I think it's because the guys over at KB had a certain vision,
yeah.
what they wanted to accomplish, and man, I don't think any other company could have stepped up to the plate to support them in that like you guys did.
It was easy. We're here in town too, and I like doing stuff like that. I mean, I think part of the reason in this business is just to buy fun equipment. We and build stuff. We built a laser cutter out there that's kind of cool, which is what we use to cut the trees out of a sheet of plastic. You can program it, and I can just stand there and watch it work. It's going all around at 1,000,000 miles a second and cut stuff out, or the CNC router. that Bill runs, or we built a 3D printer. You seen that? It's
I
like
haven't seen it in action. I've seen it in the
like
corner.
5 by 10. Yeah, it hasn't been tuned in yet, but we found one from some guy in California. Basically the idea. So we went out there and I don't know what it was, 80 grand or something. And we said, okay, well, this looks pretty cool. It's a big giant machine, but got it back here and realized the components just weren't beefy enough that it wasn't sturdy enough to produce a really good quality part. So almost rebuilt it from the ground up with steel instead of aluminum.
I bet
and
Nate was
some
kind of
other
all
stuff.
over that.
Yeah, Sam, Bill's son,
Okay.
is and then his cousin. They're just into that kind of stuff. So all new motors, servo type that you can control to the finest unit, and it's going to be fun once we get it up and running because it'll be easier to manufacture some of these tools without carving them out. It's called additive manufacturing versus,
Mm-hmm.
what we do with a CNC machine. But so that's kind of fun. It keeps our interest, and it's a little bit different than the normal stuff. It's hard for us to find architects, because I'd love to get specified on jobs.
You and me both.
So how do you do that as a small business, right? You just don't have that. You can't go out and give presentations to architects. There's millions of them, it seems like. You just find, you probably have to cull through them and find.
I know
the
one
ones.
company that's pretty good at it.
Really?
Yeah.
A large company, small company?
They're bigger than you and I.
Well, a lot of, when you get bigger.
And let's put it this way. You know what? For a while they were on fire. So,
Really?
yeah. But
Well,
I think they're good at a lot of things. I think that's one of the things they're really good at.
So
is
how do we
getting
learn from
specified.
them? Would they share?
Not with me. Not with me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
But if anyone picks up on that and you know someone there that wants to
Yeah,
come teach me a thing or two,
you
you guys got my number.
We'll find them. TCA is a good resource.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I love those guys over there, and the gals. It's a good way, and I think they're willing to do some of that for us. Teach us how to do that.
Yeah. You and I, I'll tell you what, if we find it, we'll get person X somewhere here.
Yeah.
And we'll all come, they can give us all a lesson
Yeah, they would.
on what we need to do better and stuff. Because, yeah, specification, man. I think that's
It's like
a tough
sales
sell,
and
too.
marketing seminar. They could put on.
Yeah.
You know,
And there's people, that's their job, is you just go get us specified and we'll give you all the sandwiches you want,
Really, yeah.
Yeah, that's how people get paid these days, sandwiches and gum.
Yeah. Well, sometimes architects like the wine and cheese approach too.
That's a good point.
4 or 5 o'clock. Ellis is good at that. He
Yeah.
builds relationships with a lot of guys up in Toronto.
Yeah.
A lot of our work is up there now. Probably 30% of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's crazy what they're building. All these condominiums.
Yeah, you want the overbeaks and stuff, like precast and tilt up. Yeah, they've really embraced those methods out there.
Mm-hmm. Schools, and then Nova Scotia, doing some work up there with those guys. But it's fun. I like going up there and seeing the work. And, it's just a good crowd of guys.
The only ones I've got to go see up there has been like an Amazon. This was 2020. I've been to Nova Scotia. You got some friends out there.
Who covers that for you guys then?
That's our sales director, Mr. Scott Johnson. Our muscular Mr. Clean guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he covers that area.
He does look like Mr. Clean. I like it.
Yeah, he does, but he's got the voice of like a metal singer or something.
Yeah.
That guy's always singing a song. Every time we're together, there's a song always getting sung. You'll be in the car, he's singing. Then the second we're sitting down for a meeting and until the boss man starts singing, it's, "What would you do if I sang out of tune?" He sings good though. He sings well. But it is a constant. A song comes on and it's like the radio can't be on because he is lighting it up with his voice, and he's got a powerful voice. I've always thought at the outdoor demo we just need to have like a little like a speaker,
Yeah.
like an amp, and just have him hooked up with a microphone.
Yeah.
Because because there's so much going on, and I just feel like we'd overpower everyone else's things.
Yeah.
And as great as I feel we are, we also don't want to be overpowering.
Yeah,
I guess at the
suppose
outdoor
so.
demo, because there are so many people. It's like, for all we know, I could be talking over you guys, showcasing your liner and the stains and stuff going on.
Yeah,
And so
Yeah.
yeah, but otherwise, I think it'd be cool because it's like he's got like such a good his like process in which he talks about things is so dialed in. And it's not even rehearsed. I think it comes very natural to him how he
Yeah.
spits out the information, and then with his like, very grit like voice, it just
Yeah.
resonates with people. So it's like, even if you weren't interested, you're like, he's telling me that this is what I want, so I better listen.
Yeah. Well, we need more interaction. Like you said, maybe some type of seminar.
Yeah.
Teach on architectural finishes, and because that's what you guys do. Well, with a new form bracket, you're getting outside of that.
Oh, you're so kind for bringing that up. Yes, that's my favorite. That voodoo bracket was something that took two
Voodoo? Is that what you
voodoo.
call it?
Yeah, it's the voodoo
Great
bracket.
name. That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's it's called that because you can screw down, you can nail it, you can do whatever to it, and it's tough, and it's not supposed to be a pain point. And that has been a project that has been Chad and I have worked on really hard the last year and a half, and just barely got that out the door rocking and rolling. Manufacturing is tough. It's all these little fine details.
Yeah, that's injection molded probably. Right?
Yeah, and you know what, man? Everyone's like, let's just take Reveal, for example. I can't even tell you how many contractors have been like, well, I can just go get a mold made for XYZ dollars, and then I'll just have these guys in China extrude it. And I'm like, you want Kyle? You can.
Yeah.
I will buy it from you if it's good. And then they've, actually gone and had a mold made, and then they get it, and they're like, they thought they're going to make millions, and so they bring in 2 containers, and then they've used it and sold it to a buddy's company as well, and then turns out the shape looks good,
Yeah.
but then it's...
What's wrong with it?
it's a turd. It's brittle.
Fragile.
It expands a lot. It's not completely flat. It's curled up on the edges. There's not enough support in the middle, so
Wow.
it rebar bashes it. And and then all that, like, yeah, it's made of plastic, but it's not made of one that bonds well.
They didn't think it through, right? Well, with the liner, we came up with a way to overlap the brick liners.
Yeah.
To lock them together, right? And allow you to, like a Lego system, I suppose, build things up. But you have to take so much stuff into account. We've actually make a little recessed part in at the end of the liner. If you look at it carefully, right? There's like a negative joint there. It's 20,000ths of an inch smaller than the other joint that overlaps it. So when you look at the finished product,
It's flush.
It's flush, right? And then
And that's
same thing
hard
on
to
the
do
horizontal joints.
because your material's so thin.
Right. It's 20,000ths, 22,000ths of an inch thick.
Yeah.
But if it weren't that thin, guys go, can't you make this out of something thicker? I go, yeah, we could. And then you'd be fighting it. You can kick this one's ass easy. You can bully it around, if you need to, because things happen. Things get bigger and smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And with the brick in there, you need a little bit of flexibility. But if you get much thicker than that, it doesn't work as well. The plastic takes over, and the bricks, will float out of there. They don't lock into it as well. So you need something really malleable, and that's just the perfect thickness. This product's been copied so many times now. It's hard to speak to it all, but Bill's thought through a lot of my brother, all these details, and that's what we specialize in. Just the little details, little perps, we call them, little joints that you can insert in the liner if you need a split a brick in half or create a roll-out pattern. And I got into this. I thought, okay, there's running bond brick and soldiers. That's all we really need to make. We have 400 different patterns out there.
I know. I love your guys' new rack, by the way.
Yeah,
that has
that's Dean
organized.
right there. We used to just lean them up against the wall.
What a champ!
The real estate in a lot of cases, for us anyway, is where the value is in a lot of businesses, right?
Yeah.
Because why rent? You need to buy something and build some equity in something. I think, but people are afraid to make the commitment.
It'd be tough right now to specifically to bite that bullet. I know a handful of companies have, like, this is the year we get our own building or something, and just due to the current economy and interest rates and stuff, it makes it hard for businesses to want to establish, and homeowners. Whoever wants to spend money owning a piece of property, the American dream, that real estate, and the movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, Far, Far Away,
Yeah,
where they're like Irish immigrants with really crappy Irish accents.
yeah,
If only it were like toward the end where you just book it out on a horse and stake your flag into whatever parcel you want. You know what I mean?
I know. There's so much open space.
I think coming out of this dip with all the empty tilt-ups and precast buildings, I think that's what's going to be like for land. I get this building, and then they're just going to come tag it with some spray paint. O'Doyle was here, or O'Doyle rules, and that's O'Doyle Manufacturing or something. It's because they tagged it first.
Yeah, there's a bunch of empty space, but that's just one part of the industry. There's other parts that are just going gangbusters right now. Believe me, the thin brick industry is backed up historic lead times right now. 20 weeks, 22 weeks. They used to be 6 to 8 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, they can't make enough thin brick right now. It's crazy.
This is for because it's not warehouse, which is great though.
Right, it's all architectural stuff.
Yeah.
And the tilt-up industry has to change a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to pour gray panels. People hate our product a lot of times. It's like, oh my God, we have to do that. And it's like, we make it as simple as possible, but still, they can get in there and get out of there if they just make a gray panel pretty quickly. Know how to do that really well.
Yeah.
And it's pretty risky doing this. There's companies like Barclays that embrace it and do really well with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a challenge sometimes.
Well, there's a handful like Citadel.
Yep.
Beautiful brick buildings.
Soretta.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hughes. I think Hughes does, because they do so many schools and stuff. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't see that many architectural guys out west.
Yeah, I don't either. We don't do a lot. Some in Northern California, up in Portland and Oregon and that area, but
yeah,
it's mostly, of course, in Texas and North Florida, probably. That part of the country.
Yeah, the Carolinas and stuff, all Greater Carolinas and stuff, all got it going on with that architectural stuff. I think
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of really good stuff, Scott.
Interesting talking to you.
I don't get to just chat it up freely often, and there has to be like topic points and stuff. But that's like why I wanted to do this with you, because it's you and your family have always just been so like.
Well, thanks.
Hey, how you guys doing? Yeah. What's your favorite color? Blue. Mine's green. And it's been so just off the cuff, easy.
You're easy to talk to. I enjoy your company. And I always learn something when I talk to you. It's
likewise.
It's kind of fun.
I just like that. I get to come see what you guys are always doing. The innovation is what gets me excited.
Yeah.
Anytime I meet someone new in the industry, I'm a big time story guy.
Yeah.
I like to know companies' histories. I'm really into history in general, and knowing people's journey.
Interesting.
And so many of these companies that we get to talk to, it's like, are you serious? That's how you guys started? Some of them have very humble beginnings. Some of them was like, they got a big pension fund and that's just what they did.
Yeah.
But you guys are always all the little things and the innovation and just the fun creativity because you guys felt like doing it.
Yeah.
I think that's what's always kept me intrigued from the very first time I got to meet you guys when I first came out to Denver almost 5 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, we try to stay focused on that kind of stuff.
Well, I appreciate you taking all this time.
Of course, buddy.
Let's go in the shop and
let's
see
go look
some
around
cool
and
stuff.
look at the mini bikes
Yeah.
first. Then we'll look at some other stuff.